What we do here is go back.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Lost Media podcast. And today we are talking about Kingdom of the Sun. What is Kingdom of the Sun? Well, it's the original version of the Emperor's New Groove. It's what the Emperor's New Groove would have been if it didn't get completely changed and thrown out, this original idea. It's somewhat different to the movie that we all know today. In fact, it's a lot different. There's a lot less comedy. There's only little bits of comedy in this original, and it was only 1/3 of the way done, with the 1/3 bit incomplete, obviously, and not fully animated. It was just little animatics, black and white drawings, and also voice acting included. It's a big iceberg, this movie. Forgive me if I get a lot of things wrong. Forgive me if I miss out on a lot of things. But mainly the whole point of this is the person that was in charge of it, who just came off doing The Lion King. And that was a huge success for Disney, obviously. And everyone thought he was the Messiah. He was the guy to lead Disney animation in the right direction. This is traditional Disney animation, by the way. This is not Pixar. And they were going through some rough times in the 70s, the 80s, and really weren't making any money whatsoever. They were failing miserably. It was a shocker. And this guy came in with some great ideas that were included in the Lion King movie. He fought for them to be included, and it ended up being critically the best parts of the movie. So they all thought, this guy, Roger, is a legend. You know, Roger Allers, he knows what he's doing. Let's get him to do the next movie. Let's get him to make this happen. And he was really interested in Incan history, Incan gods and what they believed in. And he was fascinated in, I don't know, I guess the history of the Incan people and their mythos and their mythology. So he decided, let's make a movie about that, but bring, the mythical things to life through animation. And so it's about, forgive me if I butcher this, it's about, rich, as the same as the Emperor's New Groove, a rich, spoiled emperor named Manco and his lookalike Pacha. So it's a bit different to the Emperor's New Groove. Pacha ended up being an older guy who was just, a poor dude, family man visiting the castle. And in the original, he's a lookalike to the Emperor. And there's a love story involved in this. He falls in love with an empress, and he's actually trying to, I think the plot is he's summoning the sun. He's summoning a distant star and bringing it closer to, to summon a sun. This is how bad I am with coming up with the plot of a movie I've obviously never seen before. Very tough with Lost Media when you've never seen a movie and you've got to try and remember a plot that you are so totally unfamiliar with. And I've only looked up information about the plot of this fleetingly recently, but I know a lot about the history of how much of a hellish development this film was. It was literally 5 years of them just slowly dragging along. And this guy Allers, Roger Allers, he was very ambitious. He was incredibly ambitious with what he wanted for this movie. He wanted all sorts of incredible, overblown sequences that would have looked amazing, and it just wasn't happening very quickly. And it was taking away from the story of the film and, the pacing of the movie. It was just a shocker. Sting was involved with this. He came in a really difficult part of production, and he was, offering 6 songs for this movie's soundtrack. And believe it or not, what's playing behind me probably by now of this video is them filming the creative process of the production of Kingdom of the Sun, a movie that never happened. And Sting's wife actually filmed this documentary. and it just shows all the fights, all the not full blown fights, but the tension that was involved in such a stressful project that just wasn't happening at all. And Roger Allers was, trying all sorts of different things, and Sting was even offering his advice in the documentary as how, he's deleted 2 really important parts out of the movie, and it's all just going tits up. And after a long time making this movie, they premiere 1/3 of the movie to the whole production team. Roger Allers shows it, and they're all just like, there's so many bits that don't match other bits. It's all a bit of a mess. You can't keep going with this. If you're going to, you're going to have to come up against another production team that's got a completely different idea. So there's 2 divisions who are originally working on the same film who are now split. They're meant to be collaborating on this movie, but they're now split, and one team has an idea for The Emperor's New Groove and one team's still going with Kingdom of the Sun, and we all know what happened. Emperor's New Groove won out, and they had a much funnier idea, and they're giving their premise to all the group of people. I think it's still in the documentary, and Alla's premise for what he's trying to improve with Kingdom of the Sun and how he's trying to keep that on the ground. Everyone's just kind of like sitting there like this. And then the other team's premise for how funny Emperor's New Groove is going to be and what they wanted to do with that. Everyone's in stitches laughing, so he knew it was over at that point. This video is more about what happened to that third of Kingdom of the Sun. Disney movies have a very strong history of this thing's never going to be released type thing, especially when it's an unfinished product. I talked about Dumbo 2 a few years ago when I used to do Lost Media, 6 years ago. It's been a very long time since I did this. And I talked about how that's never going to be released. Disney hides this shit well. They do a pretty good job at making sure the test animatics, any voiceover or anything to do with the production of this never sees the light of day when it's something that was cancelled, because otherwise people get confused. They tie it in with the original work and they're still trying to profit off original work, and it's all just a mess. And they're also embarrassed by something that they worked a lot of years on that didn't quite work out, which is fair enough, but screw Disney. I want to watch this 1/3 of the movie that was just grey-led and black and white, really, and the voiceovers, and I want to see what this original version was exactly like. There are clips I've played behind me from what the original was like that have been leaked and have been posted, and I think they were actually part of the documentary about this shit show, the making of Kingdom of the Sun. Owen Wilson was to play the mirror person, to play Pacha, Manko's lookalike. And he was completely unknown in Hollywood at the time. Obviously has gone on to have a great, career. And it's so over the top. Like, what they were trying to go for. I mean, I understand it. I understand what Roger Allers was going for. He was just so ambitious. And I understand this really well because I've done this a lot in the past, especially on my channel that I still work on. Last year, I've gone for these overly ambitious ideas, gone balls out thinking if this works and this gets a lot of views, it'll be so respected. And then the video flops horribly. It flops hard. And Emperor's New Groove actually flopped pretty badly as well, but it was a hilarious movie. They went all out with that. And I think my kind of career trajectory relates in a strange way to this production. I don't want to make this all about me, guys. But, last year and the year before, I was kind of taking on really ambitious projects, videos that were taking 60, 70 hours to make that had stupid amounts of editing involved, crazy edits, awesome script, awesome storyline, documentary style, play-by-play of all sorts of events. And they were all on different topics and everything was happening. And it was just my presenting style that was going to make the channel run in one seamless way. And then this year, I've started this Lost Media podcast, and it's a basic thing where it's a podcast. There's virtually no editing. It's me doing a continuous record, and it's sort of a more laid-back thing for the viewers. The viewers probably... It reads YouTube a lot better than those videos did. Those videos were well made, but were made for virtually no one, because no one was watching them. And these are made for viewers to really enjoy. And I think that's the point of this project. Kingdom of the Sun was a really ambitious project. It was amazing what he was going for, Roger Allers. It was incredible. The sequences would have looked incredible, but it wasn't relating to anyone. You know, no one was going to enjoy it. A lot of the sequences didn't make sense. A lot of the characters didn't make sense. Why is a selfish emperor getting the girl? You know, the whole process was weird. And the villain, even Yzma, her intentions in the original movie were like, she was kind of this character off to the side that had no relation to the actual movie, whereas in Emperor's New Groove, she's, you know, a central antagonist and a hilarious and likable antagonist. And in the original, she's just like this weird evil character that is, you know, there's not a lot of... When you take on so much, it's hard to get everything together. And Disney were kind of like, look, you're going for so much and none of it's working. And he was like, I'm going for so much and it's all going to work, trust me. And it just, there was no correlation with his vision and Disney's vision. It just wasn't happening. And for years he stayed on the project because everyone was saying in the halls of Disney, remember The Lion King, remember what he did with that, remember how he was able to make that so impressive. Keep soldiering on with this, it's going to happen. And it just kept going on and on and on, this project, and it never worked out. Could it be leaked, that 1/3 of the movie that was shown in that test screening in the documentary? I don't know. Probably not, because I don't think enough people are willing to try their best to find that. It is lost media though, obviously. Oh, it's lost media. The black and white animatics with voiceovers. It'd be interesting if it gets released. If more parts get released, I will do a follow-up for sure. But I'm just fascinated by how something can be on the right track seemingly, or it doesn't seem like it was never on the right track, but something is so ambitious, and, you know, someone's clearly a creative genius in a lot of ways, and he's doing a lot of things right, but there's still so many aspects of the movie he can't do, and that's why it fails. And that's what I'm so interested in with how, you know, something goes from being a sure thing, potentially an animated classic, to completely lost media, and the original being entirely lost. So it's sad. It's very sad. If you're like me and you want to see this released one day, this 1/3 of the movie, pester the shit out. Disney will never release it. I say pester the shit out of this person and pester the shit out of this company, but Disney, they're a ratty company now. Where is this going? I just thought it was a really interesting topic to talk about on the Lost Media podcast. I thought it would have been, you know, it's just a fascinating thing. I thought it would have been, but it isn't. No, it's just a fascinating thing to look back on and just be like, that almost happened, and instead it was saved with The Emperor's New Groove. And I like, you know, like I said, I like the relaxed, free-flowing, still artistic, but just comedic style that The Emperor's New Groove took, instead of trying to be this massive, gigantic, you know, balls to the walls animation piece that was going to be this historic thing. And, you know, Roger Allers, once he made one of the greatest animated movies of all time, he wants to step it up another level. And I think that's extremely hard to do. And with a lot of the, you know, outlandish, incredibly animated pieces he was going to do, it would be extremely hard to match The Lion King and to make it so impressive. And that's why I related it to me. I used to go for extremely outlandish productions. I still do, but to come and do the Lost Media podcast and make it just more relatable to the audience. Like The Emperor's New Groove was so relatable and more enjoyable for the audience. That's what I'm trying to do with my YouTube career, because I've been going for 8 years, and it's I understand Roger Allers and what he was trying to do and where he went wrong, because I've done that so many times with so many productions. I've done a lot of shit shows. In fact, I was trying to make a movie when I was 16 in high school. Oh God, this is a long time ago. Wow, looking back at this. And it was incredibly ambitious, and it was going to be best in the class in the Year 12 media project. But there was a lot of issues with me trying to do these incredible sequences and these incredible shots, these incredible camera shots, and I wasn't focusing enough on the story. And in the end, the story made no sense. So I had to go for something very basic about a director who everyone hated, and he was trying to make the best movie, but everyone hated him. And that was what my movie was. And it was okay. was an alright alternative, but this is just another one of those examples. Focus on the simpler ideas. Yeah, let's hope this gets found though. The 1/3 of the movie, that would be very cool. Because I don't think Emperor's New Groove is popular enough for this to, oh, this can't be found, it'll ruin it, like Shrek's original animations. I don't think this is like that. It should be released, that 1/3 of it, just so people can see where the hell that was going. An important thing to note before this video finishes: The Road to El Dorado is a complete ripoff of what Kingdom of the Sun would have been. The same thing happened with A Bug's Life ripping off Ants. There was just this back and forth with DreamWorks and Disney. Oh, you've got an idea? I'm going to rip it off to get revenge for you ripping off Kingdom of the Sun with Road to El Dorado. So look into that. They're very similar, Kingdom of the Sun and Road to El Dorado, with a lot of the ideas they take. They're both Incan history, or Incan, philosophy, not stuff that actually happened. But yeah, very, very cool. I got to end this video. Thanks for watching. The support recently is a bit overwhelming. I'm trying to ignore that and focus on current podcasts. It's very, very cool though to see success with some videos. It's very exciting. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe. Give me your suggestions in the comments, and comment whatever the hell you want. Mean comments, good comments, any comments. Just do it. Just do it. Come at me. Just end this stupid podcast.